On this next episode of Outlook TV, we get matrimonial with the Union Wedding Show.
Two-spirited youth gathering in Victoria.
AIDS Vancouver celebrates their 35th anniversary with the Red Ribbon Gala, and much, much more.
Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay, and you're watching the Queer Magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast.
We're going to kick it off in Vancouver with the Union Wedding Show.
A queer-focused wedding show that brings all the brides and grooms and otherwise together in matrimony.
We're at Heritage Hall in Mount Pleasant in Vancouver for the 3rd annual LGBTQ+ Union Wedding Show. We're going to meet all the exhibitors, so please come and join us.
Today at the show, we're greeting people. We're offering them bags of goodies, and we're letting them get into the draw for the great prizes we have here today as they come in to get themselves set up for their weddings.
I met Christy at a wedding show I went to, and we started chatting, and there was a queer couple there, and I mentioned to her, how do you think they feel being this space that's all bride and groom, and Christy said, well, yeah, she's often wondered that as well, and so I jokingly said, well, we should have our own big gay wedding show, and then that's how it kind of evolved.
I have no idea why nobody has done this before. It just took a couple cool queers to come along and plan it and decide to do it, so here we are.
So today we are the lead sponsor, and we actually have been since this show launched. So yeah, we're just here showing support, being a face in the community today. So
yeah, so I've been to this wedding show actually last year as well, and it was great to meet a lot of these business owners, see how we can help out as a bank, and also support the LGBT community as well.
Well, I'm here to show my work as a smith. I am a silver and goldsmith. I have been smithing for 22 years. I'd say I'm the first and only trans goldsmith in the city. And I specialize in love bands, so wedding rings, men's jewelry, heirloom resetting, and power pieces. So today I'm specializing more in showcasing my love bands. So I take apart people's older pieces, transform them into something new. And it, for me, is probably the most magical experience to work with my clients on that.
We are a custom wedding officiating company, so we really believe in customizing your wedding ceremony to be a reflection of who our couples are as individuals, but also who they are as a couple. So traditionally when people think about kind of going to a wedding ceremony, it's a little bit drab. Let's be honest, people don't necessarily look forward to the ceremony side of a wedding, right? We try and flip the switch on that, meaning that the ceremony is the one time in a wedding, really, where the couple gets to be talked about, who they are, and all the reasons why they've invited all their favorite people out to have this celebration in the first place.
We provide wedding dresses, we also do jumpers, pantsuits, wedding accessories, all to the North Shore.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Prott at the 3rd annual Union Wedding Show in Vancouver.
It's getting to be that time of the year when all the calendars for next year get launched.
And the legends come together, because Jaylene Thyme has a calendar being put out this year, and I wonder who's the centerfold. Ooh, maybe me.
We are here at XY Nightclub in Vancouver to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of Legends with Jaylene Thyme. We are about to meet with Jaylene to discuss the success of the show and the release of the 3rd edition of the Legends calendar.
Legends is a incredible show that we have every Sunday here at XY. It specializes in bringing the glamour and impersonation that is alive and well in the city. Impersonation is something that is a heavy part of my drag. I do a lot of it. So it's one of my most favorite shows to do whenever I get the chance to be co-host or guest.
The history is amazing. We've been doing this for 3 years every week, celebrating the art of drag and the rich history that Vancouver has for performance, and it's pretty amazing. It was started by myself and my drag daughter, Iona Whip. Unfortunately, she moved, and fortunately for her, she moved to Saskatoon, so I've been doing the show on my own for about, I guess, 2.5 years. What I do with the Legends brand is really make sure that it is an honor of our rich history of drag here in Vancouver. It was an extended family, and so people like Justine Thyme and Joan E. and Carlotta, and Mariah Lenoir, Willie Taylor, Sandy St. Peters, Charity, all these names that some of them not with us anymore. So I think that if I have an opportunity to be able to present a showcase, I want to honor that real rich history. Shady Orr as Grace Jones. So, and then we're on to August, which is me as Mariah Carey. Oh, yes. Is this we're in October? Isabella as Dr. Frankenfurter. And then Mina Mercury as Madonna. I think that's November. Alma Bitches as Ursula. Isn't that amazing? What we did 10 years ago, actually over 10 years ago now, in 2006 when I was Empress of Vancouver, I wanted to have a fundraising opportunity that was unique, and so we decided to do a calendar that would celebrate the art of drag and also transform people into celebrities. So that's sort of where that started. We wanted to raise funds and awareness for our charities, but we also wanted something that people could really enjoy, almost like a coffee table book. What I realized is that time goes by so fast. But the fact that we're able to come down here every week and present a drag show is amazing. And I think that it's a real testament towards what can happen when a group of people want to create a space that is entertaining, but also is responsible to really foster the community.
We're going to have to take a little break now.
And I'm going to have to find more shades of brown to wear than I just realized I'm already wearing.
I'm Bob the Drag Queen, and you're watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Let's hitch a ride over to Victoria for this next story, where the Native Friendship Center had a special event.
Yes, they did. They hosted the Two-Spirited Youth Group, and Kelly, our brand new reporter, was there to catch it all.
Hi, we're here in beautiful Lekwungen, Wasanic Territory, Victoria, BC, at the Victoria Native Friendship Center. Today, the Friendship Center is hosting their annual Two-Spirit Youth Gathering. It's 2 days of keynote speakers, ceremonies, workshops, and feasting. Let's find out more.
So the Two Spirits Gathering is designed for youth who identify as either in the LGBT community or as Two Spirits, as well as their allies. Although we focus on Indigenous youth, we have other youth who are participating as well. I think there's probably around 75 youth.
Panels yesterday, did they shed a light? Yes.
I think it's really important to give our community members, our Indigenous community members, opportunities to explore their identities in different ways, and I think that includes opening up our doors for the LGBTQ2 community.
I'm from a generation where there wasn't a gathering, and so for me, camaraderie, community, peers, friendships, having family support outside of your family, spiritual family, I think is important for anybody, but especially youth. So I think it's just a great space for them to be themselves and to talk about their life experiences without feeling like they're the weird one out, because now they have other people to relate to.
I like being at this conference because you get to learn about other people's identities, I guess I can say, and it's interesting to learn about them too. This room, which is the paint workshop we are in, is actually my favorite. And I've also been in a fry bread workshop.
I hear you have a favorite word. What is it?
Hallelujah!
What do you like about being at this gathering?
Well, I like it's a place where it's safe and you don't need to worry about people making fun of you or judging you for being yourself, and you can meet new people and just talk to everyone. Yesterday we did a painting workshop. It was just a bunch of quarters of a circle stating the past or the future and problems and just letting our emotions on the canvas.
What do you want kids here to know about Island Métis?
I want them to know that they are welcome to come into the doors at any time, and that we have a variety of programs. So as a life skills manager, I can work with you on any skills that you'd like to develop. And in the next coming year, we're planning to do drum making and hopefully to bring in some Métis jigging.
I think it's really important for youth to gather at events such as these because it is a safe space for queer youth to connect with their peers, which I think is super important. Growing up as a queer youth, I didn't have a space like this to connect with people, peers my age, and pick up really cool skill sets. For example, drag makeup. We use this really beautiful, cool adhesive called Rosé.
This has been Kelly Legge for OutlookTV at the Victoria Native Friendship Centre Two-Spirit Youth Gathering.
Vancouver's Ron Dutton has been collecting the LGBTQ things for the archives for years, since the 70s in fact. But now it's time for him to hand them over
to the Van City Archives, who's taken them in with gracious open arms. So let's see how that got all catalogued away.
In 1976, Ron Dutton founded the Gay and Lesbian Archives. He has donated his collection to the Vancouver Archives, and we're here to talk with Ron and city staff about the collection.
Well, the founding of the archives was really a political act in the mid-1970s when, of course, the gay liberation movement was in full swing, and there was political activity on the campuses. The women's movement, the civil rights movement in the States, the anti-war movement against Vietnam, all of this political foment is happening across North America and Europe. And I began to get really concerned as an archivist and a librarian that all the work we were doing wasn't getting documented. So I simply started to do it. When it got to be 3 boxes and 5 boxes, I decided that some organization needed to be imposed on it. So that was where the archives really started. But I also was very aware that our story isn't just a story of political struggle and civil rights. It was about drag queens and leather boys and seniors and struggles of other sorts, of women's movement, youth. And so I quickly began to collect much more broadly. Well, the Celebration 90, of course, was a pivotal turning point in Vancouver's, the gay community's history in Vancouver, where we kind of came of age and we began to recognize through other people's eyes just how large a community and diverse and healthy a community we actually had here. So it's probably the largest collection within the Gay and Lesbian Archives is the Celebration 90 material.
We made a concerted effort when Ron donated his material to expedite the arrangement and description of it so that there would not be too large a gap in access. The next step is to get his graphic materials, so his posters, available again. We were granted some funding from the federal government, and that is enough funding to digitize all of Ron's AV and his photos and the posters. That probably would have taken years under our own regular resources, but we should have it all available by the end of August of 2019. One thing about archives is that they're not always organized the way the person doing the research wants them to be organized. Our database will display Ron's collection at a collection level description. You can kind of, in that way, browse.
From the Vancouver Archives, this is Gary Wolfader for Outlook TV.
Burr, do you feel that?
There's a cold story front coming in.
Oh dear.
Gather close and watch this.
RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8 winner Bob the Drag Queen is playing here at the Vogue tonight in Vancouver. I'm about to go backstage to spill some tea with Bob right before she goes on stage.
I am a rebel, but yes, I'm so militant. Still I'm eligible for disabilities. I am psychotic, but there is no remedy. This is not figurative, this is literally.
What to expect from this show tonight? I think you'll be entertained. I think that you will be shocked. you will want more, and you will see a crazy black lady on stage. Whatever you do will change your anything. So even if I wasn't on Drag Race, my drag would have changed. Like, Drag Race changes drag for people who aren't even on Drag Race. And if you're still doing the same thing you were doing years ago, then maybe it's time to, you know.
I don't want you to be able to leave here and say, I didn't get to see what I wanted to see. I'm going to try my best to do all. DJ Mitch Farino's going to, in the instant, make one big super duper mix, and then I'm going to perform them all for you right here on this stage. Let me get a good look at what free healthcare really looks like. Bring the house lights up. Who do you like, baby? Lauryn Hill. All right, let me get, maybe like Doo-Wop, that thing by Lauryn Hill. What do you want, baby? Ooh, some Dolly Parton. Yes, ma'am.
It's not that it's important, because I mean I can do a show without interacting with fans too. But I find that, you know, I tend to be able to create comedy from situations happening around me, and is really in the moment, which makes it really fun for the audience to know that they're getting something specific just to them. I don't cater my material to young people at all. If young people find me, they find me by coincidence. And I think it's because I'm not like talking like down to kids, but also not just kids. Like, moms love me. There's a whole thing. A lot of moms really enjoy me for some reason. And maybe it's because I'm not pandering. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's honestly what it is. I think people think that kids are a lot more like, you know, these like, you have to fragile, but like kids are, they're fine. You know what I mean? And I think if you don't treat kids like kids, then you'll probably get more respect from them. What's coming up for me soon? Well, right now we're, you know, finishing out this tour, and then I'm hoping to start doing the show again in New York City. And then after that, I'm just working on these. I've been working more on my theater-minded projects. I'm trying to write some plays this year. My goal is to write 3 plays in 2019. That's kind of crazy, but I feel like I can do it. Let's go. I gotta say, honestly, I'm so grateful that Canada has received me with open arms and warm hearts and cold weather.
From the stage of the Vogue Theatre in Vancouver, this is Ollie for Outlook TV.
Give it up for Bob the Drag Queen! It's time for us to take another little break now.
Our Canadian outfit game is on point, Rebecca, but I think we're missing Tukes and Hatchet.
I left my hatchet at home.
Let's get them.
Thanks for joining us. You're watching Outlook TV.
In this next story, we're getting a little statistical with the queer community.
Oh, the Momentum survey is checking up on all sorts of stuff about men's sexual health, and they're looking for more volunteers.
Momentum is a sexual health study organized by the BC Centre for Excellence in HIV and AIDS. We're talking with a research coordinator today to see where the study's at.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So thank you very much for bringing this in today.
And the Momentum Health Study is a biobehavioral study that we're looking at gay, bi, and queer men in Vancouver, trying to figure out what kinds of things are impacting their health, their sexual health, their mental health, their general sense of well-being, getting a sense of how they're interacting with the world around them. So they do a questionnaire that asks those kinds of questions, and they also do testing on-site, HIV and STI testing on-site. The study uses respondent-driven sampling, so we try to engage guys in the community in the research process by getting them to leverage their networks and get other people who are in the community to come into the study, because we get a better picture of who's out in the community, and the findings become more representative of the community. The data is a little bit more diverse, and the data is richer because we get a better picture of who's out in the community.
What are some of the findings you have so far?
The most recent ones that came out this year was around HIV testing. What we found was about 20% of the guys had not ever been tested or had not tested in the past 2 years. 80% of them had done testing, and it was usually part of their regular testing. But the reasons that the guys who had not been tested gave were generally, I didn't think that I was at risk, or I meant to do it, I just haven't gotten around to do it. But we are approaching World AIDS Day December 1st, and there is a campaign going on around now saying, know your status, BC. You should get tested. If you haven't ever done that, it's important to do that because we all have a role to play in ending the HIV epidemic. We do community events, such as one we did last year around community connectedness and sort of the changing landscape of community connectedness in gay, bi, queer men, you know, people using online dating versus meeting in person in the bars and all that. And it was quite a successful event. And the feedback we got from the community was that they were really glad that they were being engaged in the research that way, and they were able to see research in action. People can also find out the information and the data from the study on our website, momentumstudy.ca. We are still recruiting. We just relaunched the second phase of the study last year as part of a more national study. So the study is happening in Toronto and Montreal as well, and it's called Engage there. If you've received a Momentum voucher, it is one that you should give to people or use on your own. So if you've been in the study, you get 6 of these vouchers, and then you can give them out to people. And if you've received one, you can come in and book an appointment with us. And you do get an honorarium of $50 for participating as well.
Reporting on a Momentum study, this is Ollie for Outlook TV.
AIDS Vancouver celebrated its 35th anniversary in style.
With the Red Ribbon Gala, and queers like nothing more than big, bright, and flashy. And that's what they got at this event.
Well, especially since Connie Smudge was hosting.
Ooh, Connie.
We're here at the Imperial in downtown Vancouver to celebrate AIDS Vancouver's 35th anniversary at the Red Ribbon Gala. Please join us.
The world will know, it will not change. AIDS Vancouver is actually the very first AIDS service organization in Canada. Founded in 1982, started officially in 1983 to really, as a response to the AIDS epidemic back then.
One of my very best friends in the entire world. He came to me and said he has HIV. And back then it was like, oh my God, what is happening? How do I deal with this? Am I going to be okay? Like, he thought he was going to die. And so this organization absolutely helped him through the whole process, helped him know that he was going to be okay.
Ready to raise some money for a good cause? All right.
You know, as the years have gone by with the AIDS crisis, people don't see it as much as of a crisis anymore. And I've had the opportunity to travel a lot, and I know a lot of the AIDS-related charities are suffering. So when Brian asked me, I wanted to step up. Anything to help AIDS Vancouver. 35-year anniversary. It's wonderful.
It's a gala. It's a Red Ribbon Gala. I'm so happy to be here. I love you, Brian Chiddick, and I love you, Angus Proud, and I love Outlook TV. Oh.
Once, 325. Big Daddy, it's going twice. 325. Ladies and gentlemen, it's sold 325.
From the Abbey of the Long Cedar Canoe, present to you a check for $1,000 for the Christmas hamper program.
Tonight is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to be doing a lot of the hit songs that you love so much. You know, Proud Mary, Simply the Best, River Deep Mountain High, all the hit songs of Tina Turner. And of course, not to forget to tell you that I have some other friends with me performing.
I'm a George Michael impersonator, as you can tell. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been performing with local bands, 2 bands, and also on my own. I've been to celebrity impersonators conventions in Las Vegas and also in Florida.
Backup singers for my mom's Tina Turner tribute act, and also in between there we're also going to be performing a little cover of Ariana Grande. We're going to be performing Be All Right, which she also performed at the Manchester concert.
Proud
OutlookTV, this is Angus Pratt in downtown Vancouver at the AIDS Vancouver Red Ribbon Gala.
Well, we've done it again. We've run out of time for all the stories we're trying to cram into this episode. But never fear, we'll be back with a whole other episode chock full of more stories.
Too many stories, too little time. But you know what you can do in the meantime? You can join us on the intertubes. Connect any way you want, social channels, or via email. Shoot us an email to let us know you want to volunteer with us. We're all across Canada. We need reporters. We need camera crew. We need just attractive individuals like ourselves.
Ooh, perhaps some fashion consultants too.
Ooh, yes. And a dietitian, because I need it.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay.
Stay fabulous, Canada.